Hi, welcome back to my channel. Once again, today we're going to learn how to make this free kaftan dress, and I'll be making use of the measurement on the screen. Just follow me and let us cut together. I'm sure you'll be wondering how I got all of those marks on the fabric. I didn't know that my camera stopped recording, so I had to go all over it again. The dress length is at 63 inches, so I had to fold my fabric selvage to selvage, and I'm cutting both the back and front together. So I'm working with a shoulder measurement of 17.5 inches, which is 8.75 if we are to divide it into two. To get my armhole length, my bust divided by 6 plus 1.5 plus 1 because of the shoulder slant. And so once I mark my shoulder slant on the shoulder line, you'll see that I still have my original value after doing the calculation of bust divided by 6 plus 1.5. So I'm going to find the midpoint on the armhole length, but I'm going to place my tape roll starting from the shoulder slant to get my midpoint. Since I'm cutting the front and back together, I'm not going in at the back, but for the front, I'm going in by 0.75. I would mark my bust measurement divided by 4 and add 2.5 inches of ease and seam allowance. Then, I'm going to trace the armhole with my pattern ruler. Moving on, to get the neckline, I would be measuring 4.5 inches for the neck width and 1 inch for the neck depth at the back, 5 inches for the neck depth at the front. I wouldn't want the neck to be too wide or too small. From the top line, I'm marking the half length of 19 inches, then the hip length of 8.5 inches. So I marked it out. The waist measurement is 47 divided by 4 inches. I marked the value I got and I added 3 inches to the waist. So I did the same thing on the hip measurement divided by 4 plus 3 inches. I didn't necessarily have to do that, but I had to do it so that it would guide my measurement. Here I was trying to mark the full length of the dress, which is 63 inches. And I added 1.5 inches for the hemming allowance. To get the wideness of the dress at the lower part, I measured the hip measurement divided by 4 plus 8 inches because I wanted it to be really wide. Then I connected the mark on my bust to the waist. Then from the waist all the way down to the 8 inches point, just like you can see. And after doing that, first off, I cut out the sides all the way from the armhole down to the hem. Then I cut out the back neckline. I cut it together with the front. Also, I slashed open the zipper allowance at the back. I lifted the front neck and I cut the front neck separately. I also cut the front armhole. I added ½ inch allowance to the front armhole. Since the dress doesn't need a lining, I cut facing for the neck, for the back neckline, and also for the front neckline. The sleeve is a puff sleeve, so I cut the sleeve, added some allowances to it so that I could put elastic. It's time to sew the facing for the neck, just to cover the rough edges of the neck. I'm sewing with ½ inch allowance. I notched the neck round and I top stitched with 0.25 inches. I like to top stitch with 0.25 so that the neck can lay well and the facing does not start popping out. Ensure to give it a good press so that you can enjoy the outcome of your sewing. Moving on to the back neckline, I would also sew it, but I would stop 1 inch or 1.25 inches away from the zipper allowance, as you can see, so that I could cover my zipper with the facing and have a perfect and beautiful finish. So just to save time, I quickly inserted my elastic to my sleeve, the down part of the sleeve. I inserted my elastic, and I'm going to be using 2 different methods to insert my elastic, and you can decide which one you'd like to go with. Then I fixed the pockets, as you can see. Then I notched the point where I was going to fix my pockets, the half length. Then I marked 6 inches downwards. I don't want the pocket be too wide, so I marked 6 inches downward for the pocket opening. Then I joined my shoulder, as you can see. Then I joined my sleeve to the armhole. Here I started sewing the side seam, starting from the sleeve to the armhole, then all the way down. While sewing the sides, I stopped at the first notch for my pockets. Then I continued from the second notch for my pocket and I sewed all the way down to the hem. with the allowance that I used, 1 inch allowance. You can use 1.5 as you deem fit. I carefully inserted my pockets, as you can see. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe and turn on your notification button so you could get notification when I upload another video. After fixing the pockets, it was time for me to sew in the zipper into the zipper allowance of the dress. I had to change the foot to a zipper foot. Then I marked the point where the zip was going to stop. I also marked it on the zip just to know the length of the zip. Then I closed up from where the zip is going to end all the way down. It is very important to oil your zipper long before you attach it into your dress, just to avoid friction on the zip. Before you start sewing in your zipper, you can mark out your zipper allowance. This makes it easier to fix and you can always follow a line. I'm using an invisible zipper and you have to be very careful while sewing it in. You use all your pins and your patience. Now I'm using my facing to cover my zipper so that I have a very neat finish for my zipper. This is how the zipper looks like after fixing. Exactly invisible and perfect. Then I hemmed the dress, the lower part of the dress, with the 1.5 inches I kept the other time while I was cutting. And this is the beautiful outcome of the dress. The neckline, the zipper at the back, I overlocked as I was sewing. This will give your work a very neat finish and it makes your work look very professional. Here, I decided to make a belt for her in case she would like to use a belt for the dress. As you can see, I pulled out the belt after sewing it inwards, and I am an advocate of neat finish, even when it comes to belts. And this is the outcome of the dress, simple and very neat. Please give your outfit a very good press. Thank you.